Okay, the next band asked me to read this. Attention, if you're ovulating, move away from the stage because this band is so potent, just sitting near them can get you pregnant.
How am I supposed to follow that? Let's start the show.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Shaun. Happy birthday to you. And many more. Love you, Shaun.
Welcome back to Shaun Spins. I'm your host, Shaun, and this is episode 47, and I hope everyone is safe and well. It's been a minute since the last episode. I've been really busy. What do we got? I'll be honest with you, there's nothing here I want. There's nothing. Nothing. There's nothing I want. Sorry. It's still better than my old appearance on Press Your Luck. I'm gonna press my luck! Alright, big box! No whammies, big box of hands! Stop! Yeah. Shortly after I was asked to leave the game show. Well, let's get back to episode 47. I recently had a birthday. I turned 45 years old, and I thought it'd be interesting to show and talk about 45 RPM records for 45 years on Earth. That's a lot to say, and I really can't make that video later on as I get older. This is the year. So I thought it'd be interesting to make as a journal entry of my life. Now, music has always been a really, really big part of my life. Now, here's an example. My father is putting together a toy set for me, and I should be helping, and instead I'm using the toy to pretend I'm playing drums. So in my life, I specifically remember certain music that my mother would listen to, and certain things my dad would listen to. My dad was mostly Pink Floyd, and my mom would be like Crystal Gayle and Kenny Rogers. And each of them brought different things to my life when it came to music. And I remember in the 80s, my mother more would like the We Are the World and like Lionel Richie, and my father still with Pink Floyd. So music has always been a big part of my life, and later on, making music. Some of the first things I remember specifically owning myself is like the Billy Joel single for Uptown Girl, The Quiet Riot, Bang Your Head. I had the Chipmunks on 8-track, and one of the first tape I owned, was Purple Rain from Prince. So I put together 45 RPM records for 45 years on Earth, and they're kind of in order from when I was little going into my life today. So first off, this is Andy Gibb, I Just Want to Be Your Everything. My mother loved the Bee Gees and Andy Gibb, and it's a great song. Here is the Chantels, Maybe. Oh, and by the way, there was a lot of 45s I wanted to include, yet I couldn't. I had to narrow it down to 45. This is Bachman Turner Overdrive, Let It Ride. Still one of my favorite songs. This is Golden Earring, Radar Love. Still remember being in a car with my father to that, and my grandfather having a CB radio. Quiet Riot, Bang Your Head. This is Crazy on You from Heart. Angie from the Rolling Stones. She Bop from Cyndi Lauper. Now you might be saying, Shaun, how much do you like She Bop? I think this song is amazing. There's two of them. Here's Run DMC, It's Tricky. At one time, I had a lot of singles from Run DMC, and my house got robbed about 20 years ago, and they were all stolen. And I recently found this one again. This is the Bangles from the Less Than Zero soundtrack, Hazy Shade of Winter. I even have that as a 12-inch single. I wanted to show some 12-inch singles too, but I kept it all to 45 RPM, smaller 7-inch ones. This is Bananarama, Cruel Summer. You know, there was one summer, if not 1 year, in between everyone watching the Smurfs and Punky Brewster and playing Atari, everyone wanted to learn karate like Daniel LaRusso. Sylvester, Someone Like You, and Keith Haring, big part of growing up at that time. Debbie Gibson, I loved Debbie Gibson music when I was little. This is Lost in Your Eyes. Must have been late elementary school at that time. Traveling Wilburys, Handle with Care. I remember specifically in the late 80s, skateboarding, and this song was played on the radio a lot. Good song. It's Neil Young, The Needle and the Damage Done. And unfortunately in my life, I know that tale too well with people in my life that I have lost. This is the Ramones, Rock and Roll High School. Getting into high school now. George Harrison, My Sweet Lord. I found this one, this new wave rock and roll, get behind it before it gets past you, this comp. I must have been in high school around 94, 95, I believe. And I remember paying like 10 cents for it at a thrift store. And really excited to find it. It's Chet Baker. I really got into Chet Baker as I got into college. This is Biz Markie, Just a Friend. It's a Jimi Hendrix Experience single my dad gave me. This was something that was given away with a CD in the late 90s. Let's see if it's got a year. Yeah, 98. And I remember how rare that was at that time because you didn't see a lot of new press vinyl in the United States. This is Jane's Addiction, the Mountain Song. Now, when I was in 8th grade and around early 90s, this song meant a lot to me, and I specifically remember talking with a friend of mine about this in class, in the 8th grade English class, and we would talk about the Mountain Song, just how much we liked it. And sadly, about a year and a half later, we lost him to suicide. This is Nirvana, Oh the Guilt. We're definitely getting into 8th grade high school now. This is L7, Shove and Fast and Frightening. This is Mudhoney, This Gift. This song and part of this album I had on a mixtape that a friend of mine made me too. And years later, when I started in my profession at the first place I started working at, actually the second place, I pulled up to the staff parking lot listening to this tape and shifting gears into the parking lot. And a security guard ran out and said, "Sir, you can't park here. It's only for employees." And I went, "Nah, I work here." And he just kind of looked at me like, "You work here?" This is Tad, Jinx. This is Nirvana, the Come As You Are single. And this is most likely the first time I ever heard the song Endless Nameless, which was the B-side, because my copy of Nevermind did not have Endless Nameless on it. This is Hole, Beautiful Sun. I wonder how many people will know who that photograph in the center is of. It's Dinosaur Jr., The Wagon. Probably my favorite Dinosaur Jr. song. Operation Ivy, Hectic. First demo tape of Minor Threat. Shaun, how important is Minor Threat to you in being straight edge? There's two of them. One is my original one when it came out 20-something years ago on purple vinyl. Another one's on purple grape vinyl. Another one is on black vinyl that I found about 10 years ago. This is Freddie Cannon. I lived in Tallahassee for a time, so you gotta have Freddie Cannon. When I was in college, I remember finding this single for The Offspring, All I Want, and it was incredibly cheap. I might have paid under $1 for it, and I really enjoy that single. So there's two bands I listened to a lot in college, and one was the Beach Boys, Good Vibrations, definitely. I was amazed by Brian Wilson's putting together music and his ideas with harmonies, just unbelievable to me. And the band I played guitar to a lot was the Germs. So for the Germs, I took out this Holes record. And what Holes is the band Hole with Pat Smear, and the B-side is Monkey Wrench. And this was part of the comp where they were covering Germs songs. Moving to Philadelphia, this is the fantastic Johnny C. Billie Holiday. This is the Shocking Blue playing Venus. I have many copies of this. I have one at work too. And one I gave to a friend of mine who passed away from cancer a few years ago. And I remember he used to tell me he would get up every morning and put this on and dance to it. This is a Johnny Marr single, and I really like the single because the live version of Please, 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 Let Me Get What I Want. I remember my parents found that for me because I could not find it up here. Regina Spektor, Us. Thrum, So Glad. I found this one in a record store about an hour away from here, and I knew nothing about the band, and I might have paid 70 cents for it, and it's an amazing, great song from the early 90s. The Middle Class, Out of Vogue, which I would say is the start of American hardcore punk. It's Elliott Smith, alternative versions from Either Or. I absolutely love Elliott Smith. It's Kurt Cobain, his cover of And I Love Her from the Beatles. And the last one is this box set from the band Off, the 7-inch singles. Wait a minute, Shaun, that's more than one. I know. So it was incredibly difficult to narrow them down. There were so many I wanted to show. And so many, like I was saying, the 12-inch singles, and I have 10-inch, but I kind of narrowed it down to 45 RPM records, and being 7-inch for 45 years on Earth. And well, that's about it for episode 47. I hope everybody enjoyed. I enjoy 7-inch 45 RPM singles, and there's something about that I enjoy, just constantly changing songs. And for me, music is very interactive. Like I'm moving, I might be playing air guitar, and the idea of changing songs has just always been something with me, like constantly changing tracks. And I don't know if that comes from sharing music with others, that we would take turns playing music. So until next time, I hope everyone's safe and well, and be nice to each other, and take care.